What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a new video on my channel. Today we have episode 28 of this series, Trading Supply and Demand for a Living, where I'm going to be breaking down a NASDAQ demand setup that I took today in New York session. As always, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The link is going to be in the description. If you want to take all these trades with me live every single day, make sure to join the Discord. The link will be in the description as well. And make sure that you are subscribed to this YouTube channel. So with that being said, let's get started with the breakdown of this trade. So as you guys can see, let me show you the account really quick. The account is sitting at $55,000 as of right now, and this was the trade that we took today, which we ended up making $2,400 on the trade. I posted it on Instagram as soon as I was closing. I took a screenshot and then I posted it on Instagram for you guys to see. I share everything that I take, all my trades on Instagram after I take them. So yeah, so this is the setup that I saw on Nasdaq today. If we go to the 1 hour chart really quick, you guys can see that Nasdaq had some gaps over here that we've been trying to fill out right now. So Nasdaq was dropping, then we consolidated for a little bit, and then it kept dropping and breaking lows. But then we started breaking to the upside and creating higher lows and higher highs. Yesterday we had a super bullish day for Nasdaq, so I know the overall trend for Nas is bullish. I know that we're looking bullish, and we still have some gaps like this one over here that we need to fill out on the market. So I know that we're looking bullish and we still have gaps looking left, so I'm confident on taking a demand setup on Nasdaq. All right, so let me show you guys what I saw on the 50-minute chart. So when I came into the New York session today, I was sitting right here after the New York Open, the New York Stock Exchange Open, and I saw that we had a 50-minute demand over here on Nasdaq. All right, I don't trade zones that are old from yesterday or anything like that, so I prefer the zones that are created during the session. So I didn't take this demand, but it did reject that 50-minute demand, and then the 50 minutes started pushing to the upside. As you guys can see, bullish engulfing candle right there with a lot of momentum. So when I'm looking at it on the 5-minute chart, I'm trying to see what's happening as soon as we start pushing up coming from that 15-minute. And we can see that we clearly left a demand right here on the 5-minute chart. I'm also trying to see that the highest point that we've reached, that Nasdaq reached, was right here. So I need to see Nasdaq breaking a structure, breaking the structure right there, breaking the higher point, and then coming back to the demand. Even if Nasdaq only broke this high, let's say we'll have done something like this, break the high and then come back, I will have still taken the chance on this trade because we still are trading above the EMAs. We still are trading above the 200 EMA, which is very important, and that is considered a break of structure as well, breaking this high. It's a minor break of structure. It's not the main high, but it's still a break of structure, so I will have given it the chance as well. In this case, we got the better setup, which was having, oh, sorry about that, we got the better setup, which was having a main break of structure before coming back to the demand. So right there we had the break of structure, and we even closed a candle above the previous high. So over here we closed that candle above the previous high. I still have my 5-minute mark down. I'm trying to see if we have confluences somewhere else, and as you guys can see, we did also have a 15-minute demand right there. So this is the 15-minute demand, that candle right there. We have a break of structure right here, so everything is looking good. This is a 15-minute setup. The EMAs are right here above the zone as well, so that is very good to see that we broke structure coming back to a 15-minute demand. All right, as you guys can see, I don't take my entries on the 15 minutes, so I try to scale it down. So when I came to the 5-minute, I see that my demand is literally that candle right there, and then I use reduce the zone a little bit because I'm trying to make it smaller. All right, so then I waited for a tap, which this candle came all the way back down to the demand setup. All right, I know we have a 50-minute and we have a 5-minute demand, so I'm confident with this trade. And I also see that we rejected very hard, and we're sitting above the EMAs. Literally, we closed above the 13 and rejected the 50 very well. So the next candle pushed up a little bit. At this point, I'm already looking for my entry. My entry is going to be any break of candle. That is going to be my entry. All right. Then the next candle came back down without breaking the high right there, and then next candle started pushing up. When it was pushing up, I took my entry right there at the break of that candle. Stop loss goes below the lowest point inside the demand, and we are aiming for a 1-to-1. I ain't gonna lie, this was a huge stop loss because 60 points on Nasdaq is big. All right, is that's a huge stop loss, guys. Every point is $20. So if you're trying to risk $500 in this trade, there is no way to do it because the minimum you can do is put in one contract, and 60 times 20 is way more than 500. I think it was like 1,000 and something. I forgot the exact number, but I was just aiming for a one-to-one. Now, let me show you something that I should have done on this trade, why I didn't do it, and what I'm thinking about doing next. So I also see when I'm looking at this trade that we have a supply over here. So you guys can see that momentum candle, that big red candle. I know that sellers stepped in at this area over here. So I'm trying to see what Nasdaq does when it gets to that supply. If it rejects super hard, I have to cut the loss. I have to cut the loss because we have a big stop loss. I'm not letting this trade hit my stop loss for sure. And we have a supply on the way, which this candle came back down with a lot of momentum. So sellers definitely stepped in at this area over here. So I'm trying to see what happens when we tap that zone. And literally, it was a big rejection, like this huge candle. Now, let me tell you where I closed. And let me tell you what I should have done. And let me tell you why I didn't do it. All right. So I ended up closing at around this area over here. This is what I ended up closing. So I ended up losing from here to like here. I ended up losing $900. All right. Let me tell you why I didn't close the trade. Because if this was any other trade, I would have closed as soon as we broke that low of that green candle, which was the first candle that pushed up with momentum and closed like a bullet engulfing. I would have closed my trade, cut my loss right there, which I was looking at alive and I was just about to close, but then I decided to hold the position. And let me tell you why I decided to hold the position. Because we're coming from a 15-minute demand. I know that we tapped that 15-minute demand and we rejected super hard. Look at that rejection on the 15-minute. And I also know that this has a confluence on the 5-minute. We have the EMAs in our favor. We have a main breakout structure over here, a major breakout structure, and we're looking bullish overall. So I knew that I was going with the trend. And the only reason why I didn't cut my loss right here was mainly because we had a 15-minute confluence on this trade. So I'm like, okay, we still have, let's say, the 50 EMA right here. So this can still reject, like that 50 EMA, it can reject right there and start coming back up. So even if I'm in drawdown right now, I'm still willing to hold the trade because we have a 50-minute demand that is holding. We are bullish, and we also have the EMAs that can hold right here, like the 50 SMA. So in that case, when it was breaking this low, it started pushing down with a lot of momentum. I said it on the signals group. I'm not liking this momentum because when it pushes down super fast, it's because it's most likely going to keep coming back down. So at that point, I'm not closing my trade right here. When this candle, when this red candle was close to the closure, it was getting close to the closure on like it had like 30 seconds left. I saw that this candle was sitting like right here, so I'm like, okay, it's kind of rejecting. It was leaving a nice size wick. All this area right here was a wick on the candle. And then like 10 seconds left, it started pushing back down with some volume, and I'm like, okay, this is going to most likely close below this area. So I'm going to get out, and I cut my loss literally right here. That's where I cut my loss, just because it was getting close to the candle closure, and I saw that we wasn't rejecting. We kept pushing back down. Like we only had 10 seconds left. I wanted to see that candle closing with a good wick to the upside. Like I wanted to see that candle literally buyers stepping in and pushing the candle, that sell-off that came for a minute. I wanted to see buyers immediately stepping in and pushing the candle the other way because I know we're on a 50-minute demand. So how I didn't see that, and we was already a few seconds away from closing this candle, and I saw that we was still dropping and no buyers were stepping in. Like if this didn't want to hold right here, I decided to cut the loss. But I should have cut my loss literally right here. I should have taken my 500, 600 loss or whatever instead of losing like $900 when I closed out around this area over here. So I could have saved myself like maybe $200, which is not a big difference. But when you look at it from like you're trying to grow your account and stuff like that, it does make the difference for sure. So that is a tip for you guys to learn over there. Now, I lost the first trade. I stay watching the setup. As I know this rejected, but I know this is counter trend. We didn't have any break of structure or anything. So I'm still watching the setup to see if this is going to reject. And the next candle literally comes back down. It will have stopped us. So you guys know every time that I cut my loss, I try to stay watching the trade to see if I did good by cutting my loss or if I didn't do good by cutting the loss. And in this case, we did good by cutting the loss because it will have hit the stop loss literally right here. So when I saw that it got me out of the position and then started coming back up, look at the main thing that I was looking at on this setup was that we didn't close any candles inside the zone. So even though we was pushing back down with a lot of momentum, we still rejected the demand right here. The zone is still valid because we haven't reached the bottom of the zone, so it is still valid. It is still a 15-minute demand. We still have this candle right here. We still have the EMAs in confluence because it closed above the 13, above the 50, and of course we're above the 200. So when I saw that candle right there closing above the EMAs, rejecting the zone, we didn't close any candles inside the zone, and this has bullish momentum to the upside after this bearish candle. If this is really not going to work out, this bearish candle will come back down, and the next candle is going to be another bearish candle breaking the zone. How I saw this, I was like confident on taking a re-entry, so I gave it a try for a second trade. Usually I don't do this. Usually either I just take my loss and walk away, or I don't re-enter a trade. But in this one, I gave it a try. I gave it a try, and I'd said on the signals group that I was going to get in at the break of candle, and then aim for a 1-to-1. Next candle literally started pushing back up, and I got in exactly at the break of the candle, probably a little bit higher. I think like my position was like a little bit higher, like over here. My stop loss is below the zone, and I'm aiming for a 1-to-1, literally a 1-to-1. And I'm watching this setup. I'm watching this setup to see what's going on. I came down to the 3-minute short, and I see on the 3-minute that this is rejecting the EMAs as well, but we're also kind of forming a double bottom formation, which double bottom formations are usually reversal patterns. So I like that. I was seeing something that I was liking. And then when I went to the 1 minute, we can also kind of see the double bottom better over here, and we can also see that we was trading above the EMAs as well. Another thing that I was looking at was, as soon as I entered the trade, we had a supply right here on the 1 minute, and then it gave the break of candle right here and immediately faked out and started going up and had a bullish candle. When I saw this, I'm like, okay, I'm confident because after it gave the break of the candle, it just literally went up and faked out and will have stopped anyone that sold over here. It will have stopped you out if you sold right there at the break of the candle. So I like to see that. And we also created a new demand on the 1 minute chart. And then the rest was history. It respected the demand right there on the 1 minute chart and then went straight to TP. All right. Yeah, this candle literally hit TP, and I was up on the position $2,400. I closed right there, shared it on Instagram. I shared on the signals group that I was closing the trade, and people made the loss back. Plus, they also made profits. So we're still up for the week. Tomorrow I'm gonna take it light because I'm off a lot of money for the week as of right now compared to the previous week. So I don't want to be taking anything aggressive or over leverage or anything like that, which I usually don't over leverage. But I don't want to take anything crazy tomorrow. I use take one setup, risk whatever I risk normally, which is $500, and then go about my day, win or lose. So that is it for the trade of today, guys. Make sure that you guys pay attention to this video because I dropped a lot of gems. So yep, that is it for today. Make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, guys. Follow me on Instagram. Don't forget that you can join the Discord to trade with me every single day. And if you want to do a one-on-one session, the link is also going to be in the description. That is it for today. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.